right. Hello. Welcome back to the old BXR Podcast. Today we got our special guest, Marzzman Gaming, to join us with me, Jared, and Pop Q. We did lose Luke and Kevin. You know, they're out doing their big boy things, but it'll be a fun podcast. A lot of games to talk about, a little bit of news. We're still in that part of the year where it seems like every fucking week there's another big ass AAA game that drops, so it's hard to keep up. But I feel like we're getting over the hump here. Once we get through October, I feel like the rest of the year just kind of dies out, and then we get like COD, XDefiant if that game ever comes out, and like that's probably the rest of the year.
Jesus. I hope it comes out. I'm itching for that game and everything. It's something different.
It won't come out because I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed a game, so it won't come out. That's how things work.
Actually, this is a good question for you, PopQ. I saw a rumor on Twitter. It could have just been straight bullshit, but I saw someone saying that the rumored release date is like the day after the MW3 beta ends. If they drop the game between the beta and like the game launching the next week, do you think there's even space there? I feel like it comes out, people play it for 2-3 days, MW3 comes out, and XDefiant just dies.
I mean, regardless of when it releases, I mean, it's most likely going to be sometime around the release of Modern Warfare 3. And so regardless of what exact day it is, I think the people that want to play MW3 are still going to choose MW3 over XDefiant, or maybe they'll try XDefiant for a little while. I never expected XDefiant to do huge numbers, but it's just a game that I'm looking forward to because, you know, I played the beta and I enjoyed it. But as for the exact day that it's going to release, I've seen so many dates thrown around now, and I just stopped paying attention to it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I mean, I agree. Obviously, if you're gonna play MW3, you're gonna play it regardless. But I still feel like if XDefiant had hit like that lull in the COD cycle, like it kind of seemed like it was gonna. Like, if XDefiant had come out in the middle of the summer when everyone was sick of MW2, everyone was sick of Warzone 2, it would have had like 3, 4, 5 months to build up momentum. Whereas now it just has to go like head to head with the new COD. And I mean, we don't know if the new COD is going to be good. It could be shitty. Like it could be like another Vanguard where it drops and maybe it helps XDefiant. Maybe it actually kind of shits the bed. But if MW3 is kind of it lives up to the hype, you know, OG maps, you got slide canceling back, baby. I feel like XDefiant's going to struggle.
No, I feel like XDefiant is just a really fun game to play. I really enjoyed it with, I had a bunch of guys I played with, and I was like, this was definitely a breath of fresh air, especially in that era of like modern shooters, like not giving us much to go with at that moment. Like you said, Arash, like in that summer, it would have been nice to have a good shooter being played at that moment. Because I think I play a lot of Halo Infinite still, and I mean they are still like at least giving me stuff to do, but at that point in time they were still kind of a little bit bland with the content they're dropping, so I was itching for another shooter to come around. But I agree with you, if you're dropping around COD, it's like you're fighting against a Titan, right? And you're still unproven, so it's like I hope XDefiant can drop, but I feel like once that they didn't pass the barrier, it like lost a lot of momentum for me. But I'll still play it, I'll still enjoy it, but it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I still totally plan on checking it out, but the amount of time that I would have played had it dropped in the summer versus now, where it's going to be like head-to-head with the new COD and CS2, which is like more my style of FPS anyways, like instead of playing maybe 20-plus hours of XDefiant to really give it a fair shake, probably going to get like 4 or 5, and if it doesn't hook me right away, like I'm probably just moving on. But I mean, I hope it's good. They do have I remember they put out their like year 1 roadmap, and they actually have a lot of content coming, so I'm hoping it's good. I really wonder though what is going on, like how the release date kind of just keeps seeming to fall back. And I know they've put out like some statements about how their build was declined for certification, but I don't know, man. I'm not saying it's bullshit, but it's just like it seems weird.
It definitely seems weird. Yeah.
Well, you got to look at the tactic, right? you got to wait for Call of Duty to go through the process of everyone being excited. You know, you got your nostalgia bait. Everyone's enjoying all of the remakes of all the old maps. And then next thing you know, you start adding in like Nicki Minaj and all of these crazy skins. And everyone starts hating it and the cycle continues. And then you drop XDefiant and you're like, hey, here's a game that knows what it is. It's not going to lose its identity with all of these crazy crossovers. And this is where we can really get that old school gameplay we've been missing with classic CODs, because obviously the nostalgia bait's going to wear off and reality is going to set in with MW3. And it's going to be like, well, another year, another COD. Let's just wait till what comes next year. Probably a remake of Black Ops. Can't wait to see how they mess that one up.
Dude, so which set of maps would you say you have the most nostalgia for? Because like for me, even though I think MW2 had better maps, I think I'd have get more nostalgia like replaying all the COD 4 maps. But I know those were all in MWR, so it wouldn't make sense to redo those again. But like the Black Ops 2 maps also would be sick. But so many of the Black Ops maps were in Cold War, so I feel like that doesn't hold the same weight that this does either. Because like they've, besides the MW2, like MW3 era maps, I feel like most of them, especially the Treyarch maps, have all been brought back over the years.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say MW2 maps. I think for me would be like the ones I'm excited to play on again, because like when Microsoft fixed the servers for MW2, I jumped right in and I was like, I know all the spots. I knew everywhere to go. I felt like I was back in school back in the day, and I was like, I'm like destroying kids. I'm like, this is like I think I never left. But like if you play those maps again, bring those back. Like playing on like Terminal again, I was like, I miss this map. I miss this place to play. And I'm like, those are like, I feel like those were my favorite of all of them. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I mean, Black Ops had some really dope maps. MW3 had some good ones, but it definitely was a shift once you get past that. But yeah, MW2 for me was my favorite.
Are you telling me that playing Terminal on Warzone 2 didn't like suffice the nostalgia for you when you dropped there?
I don't know, man. I feel like COD does this thing where they just like I get it, they're trying to save time, so they just make these giant Warzone maps to like recreate some of these levels. But I feel like it just like it felt lazy to me. I feel like I felt like I had more enjoyment of those like the classic versions, but some of them were pretty cool. But I just like that aesthetic of the old style. Maybe it was just because of the gameplay for me. Maybe I'm just sounding like a homer, like an old man or something. But I miss the old like a little bit slower pace. CODs for me were always like, I love the way it paced for that game. Playing like I love Modern Warfare, the way it like obviously more realism and how gameplay is. I know a lot of people don't like the realism in COD because that's more like a Battlefield thing. But you know, I just feel like the classic COD maps and the feel with it was like perfect to me. But yeah, I mean, I'm down to play some different. You know, I'm down to play some Black Ops maps brought back or MW3.
I feel like
you're obviously not alone in preferring the classic COD games. A lot of people do. I do, and it's so annoying that we haven't got a remaster of classic Modern Warfare 2. I've brought it up before, but that just bothers me so much. Especially the fact that they remastered just the campaign, then they released this new MW2 that's really nothing like the old MW2, and now they're releasing MW3 with MW2 maps, but it's still not a remaster of old MW2, and that's just, like I said, it's just annoying. And I think I know why they might do that, why they might be doing things the way they are, because you know I think there's a good chance eventually we will get a remaster of the old MW2, but if they release that first before these reboots, I think there's a good chance there would be a bunch of people that just stay on the classic remaster instead of buying the rebooted MW2 and rebooted MW3. I think this way, by releasing MW2, the new MW2 and the new MW3 first, they're getting people to buy those games, and those same people will then eventually buy a remaster of old MW2. And I hate the names. I hate that I have to say new and old and It's so fucking annoying. And they've made it even more annoying by the new MW3 being so much like MW2 with the maps and like Makarov for the campaign. That's an MW2 thing. They use the Eminem song for the old MW2 trailer. It's so annoying. Anyway.
No, their marketing, or not marketing. COD does marketing well, but their, I don't know, like brand is a fucking disaster at the moment. With like you're saying, because you have MW 2019, which was the reboot of Modern Warfare, which like isn't anything like COD 4, right? And then you have MW2. You know, they built off all the nostalgic like branding off MW2, and they released a totally different game that didn't the only remakes of MW2 maps were in the fucking Warzone, which wasn't even, which is like its own game, it's its own fucking like its own section. And then you have MW3, which you're like, oh, okay, we do an MW3. No, MW3 is all the remakes of MW2 maps. It's like, I don't know. And I'm so interested to see how this is gonna play too, because like with the gameplay style in MW2 today, not that it correlates 1-to-1 with the old MW2, because it's way more realistic. You know, like ADS timers are longer, the recoil is like more visually strong, I guess is like a simple way to put it. Like, and the time to kill is quick. Versus like the old MW2 was like fast time to kill, but very arcadey. Like you instantly ADS, you can jump around in ADS, and that's what I loved about the old Call of Duties. Is yeah, they had fast time to kills, but the gameplay was very quick and snappy that allowed you to like kind of make plays. Whereas now it does feel like you're kind of punished for trying to move your character too much. Like if you're jumping, it takes longer to ADS. If you put a red dot on your gun, it takes longer to ADS. And so I know MW3 is attempting to fix some of that to make it more like the old school MW, but then they're adding slide canceling back, which like, is slide canceling just going to completely ruin a lot of these maps? I feel like it might. Like these were all maps built off of the old, more like slow down to earth movement style of the original MW2, which doesn't have tac sprint. And now you're going to have tac sprint with slide canceling. And I understand you can't reset the tac sprint in the new MW3 supposedly by slide canceling. So you won't be able to like constantly slide cancel around the map, or like you would in the original Warzone, like tac sprint, slide cancel, tac sprint, slide cancel, like to get across super fast. You supposedly won't be able to do that, but still, I feel like some of the map flows and stuff are going to be really weird in this with the movement that's more similar to MW 2019, which was also nothing like fucking COD 4. I don't know. COD's weird.
No, that's a good point. Like we're finally getting the maps that so many of us wanted. And they might not even play good with this new movement. So,
a good example of that, as I saw with like Halo 5, right? Halo 5 was this high speed compared to like Halo 4 and Halo 3. The movements were increased, and then all of a sudden you bring back like remastered maps from Halo 3 or Halo 2 era. Like you can't play those maps the same way on Halo 5 because you have Spartan abilities that can launch yourself across the map. Like they're not built for that, right? That's like the same thing Arash just said. Like you know, you're going to bring all these old maps back, but they didn't have those same mechanics. So all of a sudden, like people might just despise how these maps feel in this new game because it's completely different, you know?
Well, and just to build off of that, even when maps are changed to fit the gameplay that were classic maps like Truth in Halo 5, it just feels wonky because of the wide sight lines. Like, it's such a chore crossing that map without being shot, where, you know, back in Halo 3, it's like, you know, you could actually sneak around to the enemy's base. You could still move around the map and, you know, not be getting shot every 5 seconds. So it just it's going to be curious to see how it plays for sure. I'll actually play Call of Duty for once in like 5 years.
You can join me. Did you guys see that they're like, I don't know, I only briefly glanced, and obviously tomorrow is COD Next, so tomorrow we'll learn a lot more about MW3, and therefore all of our opinions will be outdated. But it looks like they're making the gunsmith even more fucking complicated. And
oh, please no.
I saw that and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Who wants this? I swear, the only people that want the gunsmith this complicated are the fucking people that make loadout videos. Like, who else wants, like, dude, I just want to pick a couple attachments and play the game. Like, give me a good selection of guns so they feel different, sure. But, like, I'm not trying to fucking make an MMO build for my goddamn Call of Duty gun just to be able to shoot straight. Like, I don't know.
You know, it's so funny you say that. Because Todd Howard of Bethesda said, it's funny how every game has to have some kind of RPG mechanic now. It's like everything has RPG mechanics bleeding into it. He's like, we stuck with our way of doing things because it's different because everyone else, they have an XP system, they have customization on everything. It's just always something. He's like, every game is just kind of another game. Everything just kind of bleeds together into one genre now. He's like, it's hard to tell what one game is trying to be and what another one's not trying to be. It's weird. The whole gaming space is weird right now.
Right. Yeah, it's all over the place. It's just it's crazy.
The gunsmith, it obviously adds a ton of customization to Call of Duty, but more customization isn't always a good thing. Like when I was playing Modern Warfare 2 last year, like I just wanted the best gun. Like I don't care about all the different things I can do to it. I just want the best gun. I don't care how cool my gun looks or whatever, or however I customize it. If somebody else has a better gun with a faster time to kill, just give me the best shit. And that's more complicated when you have the gunsmith with the way it is now in Call of Duty.
I feel like
the fact you did weapon tuning, like when you start doing that, I was just like, all right, yo, this is just stupid now. Like, what's the point?
Just bring back my ACR with a silencer, please.
Exactly.
All right, that's all I want. I mean, come on.
I feel like with the original COD games, and even when you went into like the pick 10, pick 12 system in like the Black Ops games, you had to kind of pick and choose how you wanted your gun to play. Did you want a red dot? Okay, well now you don't have a silencer. Do you want a silencer? Well, you don't have a red dot. Like, or you could do like little things like that, right? So it would change up the gun a little bit. But now it's like when you played Warzone, every LMG and every AR was built the same, and it was all just to mow people down with no recoil, right? All the SMGs were built for fast ADS. Like, it made the system that's supposed to give guns more customizability ended up just min-maxing them all to play the same with a different shell. And so you just end up all using the best one. So like when Warzone 2 dropped, everyone used the fucking RPK, whatever it's called in Warzone 2. I don't remember the names because I can't be asked to fucking remember their fake names. But like everyone just ran the RPK, and then like at one point everyone's running the TAC V or the TAC 56, whatever it was. And so like and it's like, you would think with like SBMM, like, oh, I'll be in lobbies where people use fun stuff. I'm not even that good at the game, and I swear every single person that I would die to in Warzone after a week of the game was meta loadouts. And if you weren't using a meta loadout, you would just get you just get melted by some dude halfway across the map who has no recoil. And so I understand that's like a Warzone issue, but it bleeds into the multiplayer too. And it's the same. I don't know. I don't like the gunsmith system at all. I think it's been a horrible addition to Call of Duty, and I've hated it ever since MW 2019, and I feel like it's only gotten worse. Like you said, with tuning and stuff, it's like, I don't know, man. It's too much. But
and where is all the people that like it? Like, I just see people bitching about it. Who likes it? Where are these people? I don't. Are they hiding
on YouTube?
I need 20 choices.
Listen, I'm a big fan of customization. I think everyone here likes customizing your guns and everything. But like, this is a case of too much is worse. Like, you need to simplify these systems and just make it like just like the classic games. Like you guys said, like, you know, they used to have it where it's like you pick one attachment, or you have to use a perk to get two attachments on your gun. Like, it used to be more strategic and like in that kind of sense, versus everyone gets 5, and now every little thing can change every little stat of your weapon. Like, I just want to play the game. I just wanted to make it so I could pick 2 attachments, pick 1 attachment, and let's jump right in.
Yeah, I have no problem hopping on COD 4, putting a red dot on my M16 and just using that the whole time. I have no problem with that. Like, I don't need all these different builds.
Yeah, no,
but that's just me.
No, I'm right there with you.
Old school.
Hey man, bring back one-man army.
It's just easier to jump in and out of, and I guess like maybe that's not the goal of probably a developer these days. Their goal isn't to make a game that's easy to jump in and out of. You know, everything's about player retention. So if you can force people to spend 30 minutes looking up how to fucking make their gun, maybe they're more likely to play a game. Or like when they get a build they like that they finally unlocked, maybe they feel more inclined to keep using it, and it increases player retention and blah blah blah. Whereas opposed to like, yeah, I could launch up MW2 today and just go make a class and just use like an ACR with a red dot, or like the SCAR with a red dot, or was the SCAR in that game? I don't, or the MTAR, whatever it was called, the other AR. Yeah. But as you can see, it's been a while since I played MW2, but yeah. So I don't know, man. I hope it's good. I do hope it's good. Like,
yeah, you know, it's once I get Will Smith, I can start slapping people in the game. That's where the game's gonna get real exciting. I'm waiting for that. That's
that's like the 8 to, like Jared was saying, that's the 8 to 12 month span when they've given up on the realism of the game, and now it's just a full money grab, and they just put any skin in the game. Like,
and don't forget, you got to play off the Halo fans too and bring in Master Chief.
Yeah, once
it's
Master
only
Chief
a matter of
gets
time.
thrown in there.
If the merger ever goes through, I'm sure you guys saw there was like more hiccups, but if it ever goes through, I guarantee we get a 9 to 10 month of a COD. Master Chief drops into that bitch just to get a little extra money before the next game comes out.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that.
All right. Well, we went into a little bit of a tangent there. And before we did any of that, Marzzman, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Marzzman Gaming. I do a kind of variety of gaming content. So I'm a big shooter fan, obviously, but I play all different consoles and all different types of games. So I'm just happy to be on the podcast today. And as you can tell, I'm very passionate about my anger towards COD at times. So you can see that passion on the channel. So go check it out anytime. But thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. And I'm just excited that we get to talk some gaming because it's the fall and there's a lot of games already fun that are there to play, but we still got some other ones that we can jump into too.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. Why don't we just go ahead and we'll jump into some of the games we've been playing, some of the recent releases, or basically whatever we've been spending our time. And then we can start with one that I think pretty much all of us have played, and it came out a couple weeks ago. I think it basically came out right before the last podcast, but at the time the game was pretty broken, and that was Payday 3. And so from I haven't played like super recently, but from what I've gathered, the servers have kind of improved, and now what is left is just the base game of Payday 3. And I'll let you guys talk, but I think it's just kind of underwhelming. It's so hard to, I don't know. It's like Payday 3 to me is just like the perfect reason why sometimes these live service games probably shouldn't get like sequels. It's just like you play a game that gets content added onto it for years upon years, and I understand like technically Payday 3 is an improvement. Probably like the engine's stronger, it can do cooler things, but like the version of Payday 3 we get today is just a more shallow experience compared to Payday 2, which they'd built off forever. And I wasn't even like a huge Payday 2 player either. Now, the flip side to that is I wasn't gonna roll up for year 10 of Payday 2, right? You could add all the DLC in the world, I wasn't gonna return to it. I did play Payday 3, so I guess like give and take a little bit there. Like you can pull new players back when you release a new title. Same with like Destiny and Destiny 2. I had long fallen off Destiny 1, but when Destiny 2 came out, I rolled back up, fresh start. And like, well, I do return to all the Destiny campaigns just to not finish them. So, but yeah, what do you guys feel about Payday 3?
Well, I hopped in. I played a little bit recently. My history with Payday is basically I played Payday 1 like way back in the day. Don't really even remember anything about the game, and I never played Payday 2. But Payday 3, it's about what I expected. When I hopped on, me and my friends, we were having performance issues with the game, and we did experience some bugs. I played after the server issues were improved. But yeah, it's about what I expected it to be. It's nothing crazy. I don't think there's a ton of replayability there. To me, it was just a game you hop on, play for a couple days, and that's really it. But I don't know exactly how it compares to Payday 2 because I never played Payday 2. So
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same boat. I mean, I never played a Payday game. I always knew about them. I know classic series, but I played with basically 3 other people. We had a good time because it was the fact we're all playing together. But I agree. I mean, there's only so much you can do in the game, and I was playing when the servers were having issues, so I was like leading the game. I'd send an invite. Like we played for like a few hours, and I'd send an invite. All of a sudden, it just crashed, and I'd be like, this is just frustrating. Like I'm not going to play this game by myself. I'm going to play it with people. And if I can't even play with people, then like, what's the point of playing it? Right. And I feel like there's only so many times I could do the same mission over and over again and be like, oh yeah, this is a great time. Like, and like, when you try to do a stealth game, like their mechanics of getting caught are like extremely like they're way too easy. Like Assassin's Creed is one thing. Like this is like some person can see me from across the entire building and set off every alarm, and you're just like, all right, well, it's time to gun now. Like it's time to go. Like it just kind of doesn't feel as smooth to me.
Yeah, I felt the same way with that. Like the stealth was weird. It's like once you get caught, it's like that's it, and it's just like guns a-blazing from there on out. Like there is no being stealthy anymore. So it's like you kind of want to just restart the mission sometimes if you're going with the stealth approach. I assume that's how past Payday games were though. So I guess that's nothing new. But
yeah,
apparently it seemed weird to me.
Payday's always been a case of once you're caught, it's just you go loud for the rest of the mission, but that is definitely how my Payday 3 experience was. I would spend like the first 5 or so minutes trying to stealthily do the objectives, fuck it up, and then just shoot people for the next 15 minutes.
And like it's like once you put your mask on, you can't even take it off. You're just like, well, it's stuck. Like I was playing with people and I wasn't even caught. Someone else on my team was caught, and all of a sudden my guy's is putting his mask on. I'm like, why can't I pretend to be like a hostage and then like get inside and like why can't I do something cool like that? Like I wish that
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's just like they missed out on that stuff.
I feel like Payday 3
I didn't play it.
No, that's okay.
I see them tweeting out. I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my time with it. It's not working.
Yeah, that's the play for sure. No, I feel like Payday 3 and maybe like actual Payday players would disagree. But for me, I feel like I would have wanted to see the franchise take a more leap into kind of being able to have like a more in-depth stealth system, similar to some of those like single player games like a Dishonored or something like that. And I know that would probably be hard in a 4-player co-op environment, but like to evolve that franchise, I feel like that's what it needs to do, because it's always done endlessly shooting cops down pretty fine. I mean, to be honest, I feel like it kind of feels like a reskin Left 4 Dead, if we're being honest. Like once you go loud, you just have hordes of stupid cops run at you and you shoot them, and there's special cops. There's like in Payday 3 there's the taser cop, and there's the fucking dude who jumps at you like a ninja cop. Like it's basically Left 4 Dead but with cops instead of zombies, right? And it's the same thing. You're trying to do some objectives and you're trying to finish it without dying. And so when you look at it in that lens, I guess it's fine. It's basically a PvE co-op horde game with a heist skin, but I feel like they could use that setting to to make the gameplay a lot stronger, but unfortunately it doesn't really.
All right.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
And are you aware of how big of a fan base Payday 2 had? Because like I was curious about that. Like how many people were playing Payday 2 before Payday 3 dropped? Like did it have a good population, or
so Payday 2
was the game pretty much dead?
No, it wasn't dead at all. So Payday 2 before Payday 3 dropped. When did Payday 3 drop? Like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's 19,000 playing right now on Payday 2.
Yeah, there's more people playing Payday 2 right now than Payday 3. But it looks like most days it was still peaking at like 40,000 players.
Okay.
The peak for Payday was like 6 years ago. So it's been a while since it like peaked, but I would say it's been in the strong like 40 to 50k concurrent players for like the past couple of years.
Wow.
Well, and from what I understand, they have a pretty good modding community, I think, for Payday 2.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I haven't messed with it myself, but I hear a lot of good things about that.
I've only, when I was like looking up footage, I found modding footage of it. But yeah, because Payday 2 had an offline mode, so you could actually like mod the game, whereas Payday 3 is all online, so you're just stuck playing whatever content Starbreeze gives you, which has its pros and cons. I mean, for the same reason we talk about Left 4 Dead, one of the big reasons that game has been so big for so long is because it's so moddable, and I feel like that really does help that style of game. Whereas like the online only live service type of game, the same reason Back 4 Blood kind of fizzled out. Like it's just hard. Like a developer can't come up with enough content to compete with. In their case. Sorry. In their case, the Back for Blood content couldn't compete with the years and years of Left 4 Dead 2 mods. And in this case, right, it's the same thing. Like Payday 3 can't compete with the years and years of DLC and mods of Payday 2 because that game had been out for 10 plus years. So there's so much stuff for it. And yeah, you can slide now in Payday 3, but is your hardcore Payday player really going to care that much about like slightly prettier graphics and sliding? Probably not if they've been invested for this long, right? But I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested to see if Payday 3. So like you said, Payday 2 right now has like 20K players, had like a 35K peak today, and I think Payday 3 has like 10K and peaked around like 15 or 20. So Payday 2 is still outperforming Payday 3. I wonder if that'll flip at some point, or if they'll be in this weird scenario where the old game is still more popular. And if that's the case, does Starbreeze like pivot back, or do they kind of abandon Payday 3? Because how long are you going to work on the new game if the old game is still just outperforming it, right?
Right.
True.
I kind of feel like the strategy for Payday 3 should be to, I mean, at this point, maybe go dark for a little while and work on like some huge content update for the game instead of like drip feeding like one new map at a time every couple months. Like I think a big content update could really help that than more frequent smaller ones.
I think their model has always been the more frequent like drop a heist type content update, but yeah, maybe they could go with
just to like generate hype, you know?
Yeah, like a Payday 3 2.0 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, something like that at least will do like give more popularity. I mean, I know that they were working on an offline mode because of how bad the servers have been.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's obvious. You have to do that, right? Because the servers are just trash. And I think, yeah, once they start adding some more content, I'm sure some of those Payday 2 players might go try it out. But I agree. I feel like they need to do more than just like smaller updates. I mean, I think adding a heist very often will help, but something you got to give something.
Or they shut Payday 2 down and force them all on Payday 3.
Do the Blizzard method.
No, that's the fucking Activision method, dude. They just shut down Warzone 1. It, like people talk about how it's better, they just fucking eat it.
No, they shut down Payday 3 and try to integrate everything into Payday 2.
Yeah, that's the Overwatch method.
Play. Unrelease the game.
They unreleased Payday 3 and they just put out a title update for Payday 2, and it's actually just the Payday 3 like execute. But now it loads up under Payday 2 on Steam, so you don't have a choice. I mean that's Counter-Strike, right? You can't launch CSGO anymore. You are forced to play CS2. So,
yep.
But I think it's a good transition. So about last Wednesday, about a week ago, Counter-Strike 2 officially launched, and I feel like reception has been a lot more mixed than it could have been. It feels like CS2 probably didn't have enough time, but Valve had committed to that launch window of summer, and so they basically waited to the last possible second and then shipped it out the door with whatever they had. Because the launch version of CS2 is literally what we had in the beta. Like they didn't add anything new. So don't get me wrong, CS2 is still fun. It's Counter-Strike. I mean, like they haven't changed the core gameplay. They've changed little bits here and there. You know, it's prettier. The graphics are shinier, and you know, but besides that, I mean, the game's the same. The only difference is now you have less maps and less content, and there's still other issues that people like, especially like more hardcore competitive players complain about, like the 128 tick servers. So in the past, matchmaking in Counter-Strike in CSGO was always 64 tick, right? And so people for years are like, why can't you just give us 128 tick servers? Like hit registration is better, movement is better, and nades like are more consistent. And so the community themselves did that. You had third-party clients where you would play competitive pugs on 128 tick servers along with all of the competitive matches. Well, instead of implementing 128 tick servers in CS2, Valve made it so you can't it's like hard locked into the game now that servers have to be 64 tick. So you don't like Face It can't host 128 tick servers anymore. It just doesn't exist. They have to host 164. They have to host like regular 64 tick servers with the new sub tick system, whatever the fuck that means. Yeah. So people are pretty upset about that. Fairly rightfully so. I think that's pretty shitty. At the same time, I will say the fact that in CS:GO, matchmaking was so pointless because anyone decent stopped playing it. I think if Valve can convince people to play matchmaking instead of third-party clients, I understand maybe some people probably don't like that, you're super competitive player, but for like the majority of the player base, it is better if you can just queue into the game and grind the ladder all the way up. And you don't have to be like, oh, I'm getting close to Globe. Well, no one gives a fuck about Global Elite. Once I hit it, I guess I'll go to Face It. Like now there's actually a system where you can actually like grind the ladder. Unfortunately, it's also infected with hackers at the moment. So CS2 is having some issues, but despite that, it is chugging along. It's still, I think it still hits like 1.4 mil a day. So the numbers aren't really falling off too much. But have you guys had a chance to play some CS2?
I have not played it, but I did see Shroud say it's already going to die, which means he either sucks at it or they're not paying him enough money to like it. So, you just kind of do what you will with that. But no, I'll probably try it within the next week, probably with you guys whenever you hop on. So, and I'm looking forward to trying it, but I don't know, it's just more Counter-Strike from what I've seen. So it is what it is.
That's the thing. It is, it's not exactly like CSGO, obviously, but it is pretty much CSGO. Some people are treating it like it's a different game, but in reality, it's CS:GO with an update. I mean, that's literally what it is. But yeah, I think it's kind of weird how some people are acting like it's so different, but it's really not. But yeah. I played a little bit of it recently, and I enjoyed it about as much as I enjoy CS:GO. I'm not a huge Counter-Strike player, but it was all right, and I plan on playing more.
I'm looking. Yeah, sorry, man. I was gonna say I was gonna look into playing more of it myself. I only, I think played like maybe a few games because it was late at night. I think and I also had the Steam Deck, so I was like, I want to try it out on the Steam Deck, see how it feels.
Steam Deck? What the fuck were you?
I'm mixing around, man. Yeah, I was on the Steam Deck. I was trying it out. I wanted to like, hey, it says it actually works pretty well on it. And I was like, all right, let me test this thing out then.
Counter-Strike Go.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I want to test it out. I didn't have enough games to really get a good feel about it. But yeah, I mean, the only downside I would say is the fact that, like, I want to play more to get a real feel. But based on a lot of people's perspectives, is that you're losing a lot of content and maps. It's like, that's not really what you want to see in an update. You want to lose content. You want to, like, gain content. So, yeah, the updated movements is great and stuff. But losing anything is like, well, why is this, like, why are you doing that? Like, just if you at least keep everything the same and then add more things, don't get rid of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the easiest like slam dunk criticism, is the game's just literally missing like entire sections of content that CS:GO had. Now, some of it kind of makes sense. Like, did I really expect them to update Danger Zone? Probably not, because who the fuck played Danger Zone? But stuff like Wingman only has 4 maps where it used to have like 8 or 9 or something. And then there's the entire section of like casual modes that are just gone, like Arms Race and Demolition. And so like none of that stuff returned either. And so plus there's also just missing like competitive maps that they haven't like remade. Like Train isn't in the game anymore. So I don't know. The game right now seemed like they shipped out like the bare bones so that they could start running tournaments on it. But at the same time, like, I know a ton of pros are complaining that it's not tournament ready. Like the smokes are kind of buggy at the moment because they changed how they work. And so I don't know. I it feels like they should have just delayed CS2 and maybe just open the beta up to everyone and be like, hey, we're the full release of this game, like, it's not ready yet, but here, everyone can play the beta. Because that was the big problem, is like so many people couldn't get into the beta. So now that it's finally released, everyone can play. But I feel like they could have just released the beta to everyone, and then like maybe early next year actually full release of the game with new content. Because that was the weirdest thing, to go from a beta into the full game with not a single piece of new content is so, like, it's an odd That's an odd choice. Like, I feel like when you full release a game, like usually it comes with like new shit, right? Not just like a patch notes.
They went the Halo Infinite route.
That's
Here's
true.
the
Halo
beta.
Infinite did the
Enjoy no
same
new
shit.
content release.
That's true. That's actually the way. So maybe it'll go the same way as Halo Infinite. It'll be dead in like 2 months. So one can only dream. So what's the premier tactical shooter for you guys these days? Is it CS2 or Valorant?
I prefer Counter-Strike. I do. I'm pretty sure I played more Valorant, but I definitely prefer Counter-Strike.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, yeah. Go ahead. I don't want to stop you there.
No, I was just gonna say that I mainly prefer Counter-Strike because I'm not like a big fan of hero shooters, and in Valorant you obviously have the different agents with all their different abilities, and I'm really not a fan of that at all. So that's mainly why I prefer Counter-Strike.
I'm kind of the same way. Yeah, sorry. It's kind of the same way. I play more Valorant. And I feel like it's more like like you have to be more invested in the different agents, and you have to be more of a tactician. I feel like in knowing their abilities, what's the best time to use them. CS:GO is a lot more straightforward in its gameplay, so I feel like CS:GO is probably better in that edge.
Yeah, definitely.
I just play real games like Resident Evil Reverse. Games like that.
That's a goated multiplayer experience. So I don't blame you for playing that.
I do prefer Valorant though. I like the abilities and stuff. They're colorful. My old man aiming can get around, other players with the abilities. So I'm Val for now.
This is very interesting. As a boomer, I hate when I play fucking Valorant and 90 different abilities hit me when I'm trying to hold a sight. So, and it only got worse. The higher rank that I got, just the more abilities fucking hit me in the face when I was trying to play Valorant like it's Counter-Strike, and I would just insta-lock right into every game. But
it blows my mind that the random bullet spread for guns in Valorant isn't. People don't bitch about that more. That actually surprises me. Like, I feel like that would just kill a game like that, but it doesn't somehow.
It was brought up a ton when the game released, and then I feel like by now the only people, like most the CS truthers, don't play it anymore, and so all the kids, all the people that played it are just like, they're like, oh yeah, that's just how the gun works. Like, you tap, you burst, you don't full spray. But
because if they did that to Counter-Strike, I mean, you just imagine the outrage. It'd be horrible.
The AK in CS2 is more similar to the Vandal than it used to. So
I've seen some people hitting some jump shots with it. Maybe that's the gun for me. I was hitting jump shots in Val.
Yeah,
I remember that one clip.
Yeah, you fucking jumping around the corner pretending it's like Call of Duty was insane.
And it worked.
Gave me an aneurysm every time I had to watch it. All right, well, let's CS2. I feel like CS will be fine. I mean, dude, fucking CS:GO has been perfectly fine for like 10 years, and Valve updates it once a year. So I almost don't think it even matters what the fuck Valve does with Counter-Strike. The game just trudges along anyways. I think they had a huge opportunity with CS2 that I think they're kind of blowing. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be CS. It's still going to be played by all the CS players, especially because they fucking replaced CS:GO. So what are they going to do? Go back and play Source? Probably not. So CS2 will be fine. Most of those players aren't going to go play Valorant. Like, it's a different player base at this point, even though it's like the same genre. And there's obviously some overlap, but for the most part, the people playing CS prefer the more, not tactical, but the less ability-driven game, and that's why they play Counter-Strike. So it'll be fine. I do hope they start adding in some new content, like some new operations, maybe like once or twice a year would be so cool, because we haven't had operations in forever. And while they didn't introduce the most competitive maps in the world, it was always really fun to get like 2 or 3 community made maps that you could play in ranked matchmaking and like load up on Zoo and some of the other cool maps, and they always came with like the fucking PvE mission trees you could do for all the drops and stuff. And I don't know, man, they weren't like the best thing in the world, but it was cool to get like actual new Counter-Strike content on a semi-regular basis.
Right. One more thing I wanted to ask, because I'm not like a huge Counter-Strike player, but what do you think about the way the ranking is now, where it's like you either play Premier or you play competitive, but you have a rank per map?
I don't mind that. I actually didn't like the old system where you could one trick a map all the way up to globe and your rank showed the same as someone who could play more than a singular map. Like people would just one trick office all the way to global elite. And it's like, it was part of the reason I feel like ranking in CSGO just didn't matter. Because it was like a person who only played agency or fucking office and got all the way up to global elite isn't the same as a person who played like the competitive map pool. So I actually kind of like that Premiere, you have to play all the maps. You play all the competitive maps. You have to map ban the maps, and then you play that way. That said, the rating system itself is kind of fucked. I don't know how much you've paid attention, but like, so
it's like ELO or something.
So
it's not like the
it's just number. It's just like an ELO number. It's probably like hidden MMR driven, but you get points when you win. You lose points when you lose. It seems to be mostly win-loss driven rather than performance driven, which I don't mind. The biggest issue I've seen is just it does some weird shit when you're matchmaking. Like there's screenshots, or like if you watch a streamer play, they'll 5-stack with like other pros or like competitive players. They'll all be like 15-20k, and they'll queue into like 5 people playing by themselves that are like 5 to 10k and just 13-0 them.
Wow.
And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I don't.
That just sounds like something isn't working as intended.
Yeah, and the game did just drop. Maybe they'll fix that. But I've seen so many screenshots, or even when I was just like watching streamers play. Like if you watch Shroud play, they get some uneven fucking matches, and it's, I don't know, man. Like just imagine you're like queuing up with like a buddy of yours or by yourself, and you're like 6k elo, and in comes Shroud and his stack of fucking former CS pros that are all 20k plus, and you're like, huh. All right, just take my L, I guess, and fucking move on. But it's okay. The promotion relegation system, in my opinion, is kind of stupid. Where like, so every 1,000 rank, like you can't. So like, right now I'm like 5,850 or something, right? To be able to go to rank 6,000, instead of like winning and gaining 200, I have to win, go up to 5,999, and then play another game to promote into 6,000. And it's the same when you fall down. You have like one singular relegation match where like if you win, you stay in. If you lose, you fall down. And I feel like it just like artificially like puts barriers in between the different ranks, when I feel like it would just be more smooth and consistent if you just like, yeah, you get 150 for this game, win or loss, 200 for this game, win or loss, or like whatever the numbers end up being. Because obviously, I think it does give you like more for winning a game you're not supposed to win, etc. But I just don't like how it like artificially, because sometimes you just end up in shit spots where like you have a game and you're only gonna win 8 ranked points because you're close to the cap, right?
Right.
And so it's like you just end up playing like they're not actually pointless games because you have to hit them to get into your promo, but it feels like you're playing a pointless game. And sometimes it even is, because you could lose and then still maybe win enough the next game to get back to the promo. So like, it didn't even matter that you lost per se. But I don't know.
Yeah, that definitely seems weird. I haven't experienced that. I haven't played Premiere yet, because one of my friends doesn't have it unlocked yet. But when it comes to the competitive ranks, like I do I've always recognized that it can be weird. You know, somebody being a high rank in Counter-Strike, but they only play one map, and then you have other people who can play all the maps, and they're the same rank. But when I first heard about Counter-Strike doing like a dedicated rank per map, I thought that was like an additional statistic on top of the old ranking. Like I do kind of miss just being able to check off multiple maps and just grind for that rank, you know, when I did play Counter-Strike. But like now you got to play, if you're not playing Premiere, you got to just play that one map, and I don't want to just play one map sometimes. So I get why they do it like that, but it is I do kind of miss the old way.
I will say, to me right now, the competitive mode like almost has no purpose, because I'm never going to grind enough to get a meaningful rank on every map in the game, because just to get ranked, you have to win 10 matches. I'm not going to win 10 matches on every fucking map, and then it's going to place me like MG1 or like Gold Nova Master. And then what am I supposed to do? Play 100 more matches of Dust 2 to get up to Global Elite? Like, no fucking thank you.
Right.
Like, and then do that again like 6 more times for all the other maps? Like, absolutely not. So for me, the competitive queue, I probably won't even go into very often, other than like, hey guys, let's play Office, you know, like kind of like memes, or like if you want to play Dust 2, you have to play it there because it's not in Premiere or something like that. But Or like maybe you could use it as like, oh, you're playing with your buddies, you don't want to try as hard. Like you could go in there maybe, but for me, I feel like
competitive's the new casual.
It kind of seems like it's the new casual with an icon next to your name. That's what it feels like.
Right. No.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's CS2. Tomorrow the new Assassin's Creed game comes out, Assassin's Creed Mirage. I doubt any of us have played it yet. I do have code to play it. They sent it to me like yesterday. I don't know. I wasn't about to fucking pull an all-nighter to beat a 20-hour game and try and shit out a review in one day. So I'm just gonna wait until tomorrow and play it. I'll probably stream it, honestly. But I've been seeing some reviews. I've been seeing some videos, and seems like it's pretty mid. I saw the Open Critic score when I looked earlier was like the mid 70s, which isn't a horrible game. It's just kind of like an average video game. So what do you guys think so far about what you've seen about Assassin's Creed Mirage?
It looks like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what they set out to
like
do.
Assassin's Creed. Like, I love this, actually. I think I'm gonna really enjoy the game. Like, everyone's like, oh, they went back to the old formula. There's nothing really new here. I'm like, fuck, I'm all for that. Thank you. I'm not trying to spend 63 hours going through Valhalla, which I didn't even finish. That game, I got so bored with Valhalla, I just had to quit. Odyssey, I beat Odyssey. It was okay. It had a pretty good story, but it's just like, I don't need all these crazy fantasy elements, all these crazy like gods coming to smite me or whatever. Just give me some dude in a robe and some like musty freaking hut and let me just assassinate him. Like, that's all I want from my Assassin's Creed game. Like, just like, you know what? If you got to bring in mythical animals, then just like send me on a quest to assassinate a giant dragon. Like, sneak through its cave or something if you feel like you need some crazy, fantastic elements to the game. But like, I don't know. Assassin's Creed to me, I love the original ones. I love just, sneaking in the crowd, slowly making my way through the target, go across the buildings and just take them out and then just kind of have that moment where it's one-on-one with the main character and whoever you assassinated, and you kind of get that history, that story moment with that character, and then just, go on from there. And if they feel like they need to mix up the formula somehow, then for the love of God, just make an Assassin's Creed in modern day where you're going across skyscrapers or going through an office building, sneaking up. Like, you can get creative with that kind of stuff. Like, just do something like that. You don't have to be in the past. Play with the future.
Hey,
do
Jared,
something cool like that.
They had that franchise and they don't make it anymore. It's called Splinter Cell.
Yeah,
we don't talk about Splinter Cell. It doesn't exist.
Well,
but,
yeah,
you get my point. But it is what it is.
Listen, I'm a big history buff. I love the classic Assassin's Creed games, and the idea that they want to go back to the classic style made me excited. But I felt like a few days ago I had like a heart-to-heart with I think with my whole family, and I was like, I think I'm good to move on from Assassin's Creed if they screw up Mirage, because I feel like every year they've always been like, hey, we're gonna go back to the classic setup and do all the, make everyone feel happy about Assassin's Creed. But every time they do that, they do like the exact opposite. Like, I think just like we said before, they want to do RPG elements in Assassin's Creed, so they start making everything about stats and everything along those lines. I'm like, why can we just get to a game that makes it historically like there's some historical moments that your character is involved with and makes it more fun to be like stealthy and not want to just fight everybody hand-to-hand combat. Now, I'm hoping that Mirage can hit that mark for me. I read on some reviews and they're like, it's all right. I feel like they said it was like a somewhat similar to the old style, but they still have some elements that feel like they kind of missed the mark. So I'll play it for sure, but I'm like, damn, please don't hurt my feelings. Don't make me regret buying Assassin's Creed and jumping back into the game again,
So I will say, obviously I haven't played the game yet. I can almost 100% guarantee I will enjoy this game more than Valhalla and Ragnarok, because fuck those games. I don't have 100 hours to grind some stupid ass Assassin's Creed RPG that level gates fucking sections of the map. So with that in mind, I was pumped that they were going back to the more streamlined kind of like old school Assassin's Creed style. But it is kind of a bummer. It doesn't seem like they've progressed that idea at all. And instead, we just rewinded 3 games and just went back to what they were making before, which people got bored of. And that's why they tried the RPG shit. So I feel like this game's going to come out. It seemed to have not hit the mark with critics. We'll see what players say. And then are we just in the same boat? Are we just like, hey, we're kind of tired of the old Assassin's Creed, the gameplay style? Are we trying an RPG again? Or are we done with this? Like, I feel like this left them in a weird spot where they needed to go back to the old style, but advance it and innovate it a bit in a way that isn't adding a shitty RPG system on top of an Assassin's Creed game. And instead of doing that, they just remade what they used to make with some jank from the newer games that was left over for some reason, and you end up with this game that probably, like, it'll be shorter. I will probably enjoy this game more, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near like the original Assassin's Creed titles, and so you're just going to end up with like a kind of average game, which I feel like is the bread and butter of Ubisoft these days, where they just release nothing but really average video games, and then you go, huh, that game came out, and then you just kind of move on to the next shitty the next shitty Ubisoft game, Avatar: The Frontier, or whatever the fuck it's called, where we play Far Cry but with an Avatar skin on top of it, and then later on this year we'll play Watch Dogs with a Star Wars fucking skin on it. So, like, I don't know, man. Ubisoft has been letting me down for, I feel like, 10 years. Like, I really don't know the last time that Ubisoft put out a game that I played and I was like, this is sick. Like, I'm one of those weird people that actually did enjoy the first Watch Dogs. I actually thought Watch Dogs 2 was pretty decent. But besides that, I feel like Ubisoft these days, like the modern Far Cries, they're good games, but they're just more Far Cry. The like Siege just continues on being Siege. Rainbow Six Extraction was just a bad video game. And like besides that, I just feel like Ubisoft, I don't know. I don't understand their company, because like clearly they're still making money and they're still like they're trudging along, but I feel like there needs to be like this massive rehaul where they like take all this IP that they have and like revitalize it, because it just feels like all of it is just slowly dying out. Like Siege can't hold up that section of Ubisoft forever. Like eventually Siege is gonna like die out and they're gonna have to make a new game, and it feels like so many of their attempts recently haven't really hit. And like maybe the Division 3 will, I don't know, or like the Division extraction shooter, which isn't very good. But so I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, God.
Well, just kind of like wrapping back around to your point about how Mirage is just like a repeat of what they've done before. Well, if they were just going to do that, they should have just remade the first Assassin's Creed, updated the graphics, visuals. You have an excuse to have the same gameplay as before because it's a remake. You're testing the waters. Okay, if we go back to this old style, well, people love it more than what we've been doing, and then build off of that. You'd have an excuse to go, okay, people like this, let's build back off of it. Let's see how we can improve it, instead of just, okay, let's make Mirage. It's like the old ones, but nothing new. Yeah, okay, this works, whatever. I mean, hey, at least it's a $50 game instead of 60 or 70.
Is it? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. So it's a $49.99 for like the standard edition, which is like that. Oh, thank you for not like destroying or robbing me of money for a game that might be average. But like, yeah, I agree with that. The problem I always have with the recent Assassin's Creed games, it feels like there's no sense of direction. Like they have a decent story for the game itself that they're working on, but like the classic Assassin's Creed had like a trilogy of like a story plot. Like they're overarching trying to do something, and like every game was trying to drive you to that specific purpose. And it feels like ever since that Black Flag, I feel like they've just been all over the place. They don't know what the hell they're gonna do, and they're just like, oh, here's a different era. Like, let's go to France. Let's just go to bare knuckle brawls in London. Like okay, like we can go do anything. We can go into a back alley in New York City and just start punching people, and they'll call that Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Hood. Like, what do we like? Like, we could do anything we want. Like at the end of the day, like, can we come back to like the main story of what the purpose of this is? Why is the Animus so important? Like, let's go with it. Like, it feels like the Animus is like so crap at this point. Like, even the movie had better story plot than some of these games, and that movie sucked ass. Like, I'm just saying, like, damn, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, I feel like I
It's
haven't
hurting me.
had any clue what's going on with the Assassin's Creed story in like forever. Like it just, I don't think is there an overarching story still? I thought at this point all the games were just their own thing.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. I felt like it was all supposed to be about the
Whoa, no
the
spoilers,
Apple
no
of Eden.
spoilers. Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't played it. I haven't played any Assassin's Creed games.
Pop Q's
but-
about to replay the whole series, so we got to
Well,
move
don't
on.
worry, yeah.
It's coming.
Don't worry, it's not
Stay away from
spoiler.
the collectibles.
Yeah, I won't say but go play the originals, man, because they definitely have an actual story. Even Black Flag, which was a completely different part of the world, like actually was a part of the story too. But then like every game is, whether it's Origins or apparently Mirage, everyone keeps saying this is the origin story of the Assassins. Like every other game, it's like, how many origin stories can you have? Like it's just there's like 3 of them at this point. It's like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah. All right. Well, what other games have we been playing? Anyone wanna throw one out?
I played through the DLC of Resident Evil 4, which
Is that
got a lot of
recent?
praise for being phenomenal, for only $10. It's called Separate Ways. You play as Ada Wong, and it's basically you kind of see the other side of the story from a different perspective, and it's a pretty fleshed out experience. It's about as long as Resident Evil 3 remake, which is yeah, that doesn't take much. You can play through that game in like 2 or 3 hours, but it's about like a 6-hour, 7-hour playthrough your first time through, and it brings back like a lot of people complain about cut content from Resident Evil 4, like missing areas, and a lot of those areas are put into this DLC. One of the biggest boss fights, U3, is in this DLC that was cut from the original game, or at least in the remake. And like just in general, the DLC is really good, and everyone's calling it the best DLC to ever come to Resident Evil. But you know what? I think it's a little bit too overpraised, just a little bit. Like it's really good. It's all the same gameplay. They added in a grapple hook so you can like grapple shields away from enemies and like grapple to them and melee them. But there's a lot of parts where it's just like there's nothing really exciting happening, if that makes sense. You're just kind of going through an area, fighting some standard enemies, and then you're at the next story moment. And then the big boss, bad guy that you're fighting, you have a couple repetitive fights with him, and then he just transforms, and then you fight like this abomination, and like you kill him. You're like, oh, okay, that's the big bad enemy, but I'm like, or just halfway through the DLC. So there's nothing really left exciting to experience going on from there. It's just a whole lot of fighting normal enemies, seeing story points from a different perspective, which it is what it is. You kind of already know everything that's happening, so it's like I get it. It's a really good experience. Like the gameplay is flawless. Obviously, there's no glitches. It's cool seeing stuff from another side, but it doesn't do anything original. I should say it's worth one playthrough. That's about it. Like, there's no real replayability to it, which is a little bit disappointing because I felt like the Resident Evil 4 remake, the main story, the campaign, had a lot of replayability to it. Where this just kind of feels like a one-off thing where it's like, okay, it's not very exciting to play through. Like, maybe if they could have done something on higher difficulties, like really like change how enemies were placed. Like they add a couple extra enemies on the hardest difficulty, but they don't do anything that's like worth making you really put in the effort. At least to me, like I get it, it's good, but I just didn't think it was that great.
And this was a DLC that was exclusive for the remaster, correct? Like this wasn't in the old Resident Evil 4, right?
It was in the old Resident Evil. The GameCube version, the original one that released, didn't have it. And then the PS2 version that released later, it was added onto that. So a lot of people were complaining how the game didn't launch with the Separate Ways DLC, but it's like technically it wasn't in the original. It was added on later, but
okay.
So it's interesting, but it's $10 for like 6 hours, 7 hours of content.
For $10, that's pretty cheap, and I feel like the base version of Resident Evil 4 was like plenty long. Like it's not like that was like a 5-hour game. It's so I feel like you got your money's worth of that, and like. Can you really complain about $10 DLC these days? Like that's pretty fucking. That's a bargain.
That's cheap. That is cheap compared to some like
that's
like
not
CyberPunk's
even
what, $30?
Hey,
Yeah. Well, Cyberpunk's like a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, it's
but-
a whole expansion. Yeah, too.
But,
Phantom Liberty's on another level. Let's
yeah,
just,
I mean
Yeah.
that's because it's an expansion, not a DLC. But for $10, dude, you can't even get like a fucking gorilla suit in COD. So this is a bargain, dude.
I mean, was it Last of Us Part 1 remastered $70? I mean, we call that a DLC, I guess, on the remastered version on the PS5. Jesus, I
Like
mean,
that cut out the fucking multiplayer.
yeah, like,
Hell yeah,
what the
dude.
hell?
I saw
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
what I'm talking
I saw the multiplayers in more turmoil. Do you guys see that?
it's never
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out.
Yeah, it's never coming
Yeah.
out.
It's unfortunate because I feel like it's like, hey, it's something different. I mean, I know that they were talking about it for so long, but like, hey, give us something more additions. Because I'm like, all right, well, if the multiplayer is not coming out, then I'm expecting the next game. Because I didn't think that Last of Us Part 2 ended on like the end of the series. I kind of felt like it opened it up for the third part to finally come out and finish the series, but. You guys got to come out with something new because when the TV show, when HBO starts demanding more and more seasons, you got to finish the content first before you can start pumping out more TV series.
That's what you think, but this isn't true. You just start writing your own story like The Witcher. So you just completely fuck off the source material and do whatever you want.
Game of
Who wants
Thrones,
to watch
Game of Thrones
Geralt?
style.
Yeah, the
No one
main
cares
fucking
about
character.
Geralt. The Witcher? Why is it called The Witcher?
So recently,
Screw.
so I haven't watched the new season of The Witcher, but recently I've been watching like that spin-off, like what's it called, like Blood Origins or something.
Yeah,
That's
oh my
so
god.
I have
It's
no clue
gross.
what the fuck the point of this entire sub-series is.
There's no
Like,
point.
it seems like some random person wrote a fanfic and they just called it a day and like they filmed it. Like, it's so fucking like I will admit I'm not like a Witcher lore buff. I don't really know much about The Witcher other than like I've watched the show and like know a bit about the games. But like as I'm watching this show, I'm just like, this doesn't seem to have any relevance to the fucking
No,
main show.
Not a single thing.
Other than like it has some areas that I've heard of. I'm like, oh, I've heard of Zentreya. Nice. This is a great point that really puts it straight into the IP.
Listen, you can understand my heartache when I'm a big Witcher fan, and I've been covering like every episode of the Witcher series, and I've been sitting there like in disbelief, like what the hell are you doing to my boy Geralt? Like what is going on here? And like I know like the lore of the Witcher, but like when I was watching some of the scenes, like the episodes, they're just like you're making the worst decisions, and everyone's sitting there like you're ruining this show. Like and all of a sudden now we're expected to watch a season 3. Like you're literally butchering the Geralt, and now like we're gonna make Ciri the main character. I'm like. You can have multiple like important characters. You don't have to just throw Geralt to the dumpster and burn it. Like you can still have him in there as a main character. Like it's just so mind-numbing. But yeah, Blood Origin is just a waste of space and time. It's gross.
Yeah, it's not very good. I'm gonna finish it just because I started it, but like ugh.
Yeah, it gets some good laughs. It's definitely gonna give you some laughs. I mean, it's just insanity.
Yeah,
How they do this.
yeah, it's very odd choice of a spin-off. But all right, any other games anyone's been playing that we
Yeah,
care
I
to
mean,
talk about?
I review a review of Lies of P. It's kind of like if you're into Souls-like games, it's definitely a game to try out. It kind of reminds you of a lot of like Bloodborne in the way like the aesthetic is. It kind of makes me laugh every time I think that it's supposed to be a game about like Pinocchio. And you're like, I'm actually playing as like a Pinocchio that's fighting like Souls-like bosses, and some of the boss fights are definitely intense. They're pretty fun to play, and the only downside is that it feels like they were trying to mirror Sekiro, and in the way the counters are so important to the game, but it's very wonky in how you like, it's not forgiving whatsoever. Like you have to be precise, or else you're gonna get slapped around. And the whole idea of lying like makes you more into a puppet throughout the game. And you would think that hey, this might change the story plot at the end, like your decisions matter or something, but it literally is meaningless. Like you can lie and be like an asshole the entire game, and nothing will happen to you. Like it literally doesn't do anything. So it's like you had an opportunity to make it more interesting, but like you just kind of missed it. So it's a solid game, just like little things. Just like what the hell? Like you could definitely made it better that way.
The developer who made this, NeoWiz, have I heard of any of their previous games?
They're pretty much smaller. I mean, I was like everything I looked upon, they were.
I'm looking through like the list. There's like some weird free to play COD looking thing called AVA Global. Might have to give that one a launch, dude. It came out last year apparently. But
God.
yeah. Besides, I didn't really heard it. You played Liza P, didn't you, Jared?
I actually have not played it
Oh,
yet. I just
shit.
ended up not having time, but
That's
I'm
fair.
gonna get to it eventually. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fair. Yeah. Sorry to disappoint you, Marzzman, but I actually avoid Souls games and Souls-like games like the plague.
Let's talk about Elden Ring.
Yeah. I did play
That
Elden
first
Ring.
camp.
I didn't love it. So there's a nice video of me being dog shit at the game on my channel somewhere. So if you're wondering why I didn't like it, it was in fact a skill issue. So the game didn't hold my hand enough. All right, I'm not fucking dealing with that shit. So I think I played it for like 4 or 5 hours and called it a day because I'd made like zero progress. I was still on the first boss. I was like, yeah, I think I'm good. I think like I just play something else with my time. But I get why people love those games, and so I don't think it's like a shitty genre. It's just not for me. But
If you've never played a Souls game, is Elden Ring like a good one to jump into or no?
Absolutely.
that's
I
probably
think
the
it's
best
probably
one
the best
to
one to
jump
jump
into.
into.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, because you could call in people. I feel like that was part of the reason why I loved this because I can call in people to help me out, and like me alone, like the way I play and fight, I'm always rushing into conflict. So I'm like, in Elden Ring, that like is the worst thing to do. So I'm like, hey, if I can get some people around me that actually like are ranged fighters, and I can be the up close and personal guy, like I'm fine with that, and it actually worked really well. So I think Elden Ring was a great starter for Souls like games, at least to try it out.
Oh, absolutely. And it just gives you the option. Like, you don't have to go straight into, like, the first castle and fight the boss. You can wander off over to this area, do a couple caves here, fight a couple smaller bosses, kind of build yourself up, get used to the combat. You know, you're not just, it's not like Dark Souls. It's like, okay, you have to go through this area. Or like Dark Souls 3 when you fight the stupid whatever katana guy before the first bonfire place. It's just like, you know, it's very forgiving to me when it comes to those kind of games.
Yeah. Alrighty. I think. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
So what's going on with CyberPunk? I've never played CyberPunk, and I see that it's getting a ton of praise recently. But I guess a new DLC came out. But the last I heard of CyberPunk was when it released, and it was a buggy mess. So what has changed with the game since then? Why is it so much better now?
They dropped Phantom Liberty, which is their like big expansion, but it's also like a 2.0 version of the game where they went back and reworked a lot of the original systems that people had issues with, on top of all the bug fixes and stuff that fixed a lot of the mega broken stuff from the original game. So it's basically just like most of the major issues with the game were fixed in terms of bugs and stuff, and then they went back and they reworked entire systems of the game that people didn't really like as much, and then on top of that you have a whole like expansion area that's like 20 hours long. So it's
wow.
I haven't played it. I also didn't play the original Cyberpunk, so I'm probably not like the key person to ask, but yeah, it's been getting a lot of praise. People really like. I mean, there's only so much that like a title update like this can do. Like at the end of the day, like there are still like some flaws with Cyberpunk that aren't fixable with something of this scale. Like maybe the sequel will expand upon them better. One of the big criticisms I still see is kind of like the story and stuff is really cool, but like the RPG elements of Cyberpunk are still like, they're not like useless, they're just not as strong as they could be. And this expansion itself doesn't really like fix that issue per se, but yeah, no, I've seen really, really glowing reviews. I know, Marzzman, you said you played a little bit, not of Phantom Liberty, but you hopped back into the base game a bit, right?
Yeah, because I beat the entirety of Cyberpunk originally. I did like the story. While I was playing on the Series X, it didn't have as many bugs. I did have some funny ass ones, like seeing some characters look like N64 characters back in the day. But overall the original experience was pretty solid. So when I went jump back in, I saw like They definitely reworked vehicle combat, was definitely a lot better, a lot more. It kind of reminds you of like GTA and how they kind of make it a lot more like easier to lock on enemies and kind of drive around and shoot at the same time. And you can actually add weapons on top of your vehicles, which they didn't have originally. So it makes it more kind of like a Mad Max feel to it and how you can combat people. But the cops definitely got an upgrade. I think they made it very similar to GTA again. I think that was like the thing that CyberPunk was missing, trying to be similar to like just making it baseline GTA, where like you break the law and cops will show up, and the more you piss them off, the more higher level cops going to show up and actually be more realistic. And then to the level of like NASDAQ shows up, which is like the cyber, enhanced cops that will like to clap you if you get out of line. And I felt like that was one of the best parts, because you see NASDAQ in the beginning of the game and they are just like beasts, but in the original game you never actually had to like combat against them, and it was just like there's a group there that will clap you just in case, but then you never actually had to deal with them much. So now that they added this, it's like you got to be careful not to break the law too heavily, or else like they will show up. But I want to play Phantom Liberty. I've been playing through the game from the beginning again, just so I can get the full effect, like recreated a new character and all that stuff. So I'm sticking with Street Kid. I like that one my first playthrough, so I'm gonna stick with it again and do like a whole and see what craziness I can get into. But Phantom Liberty, I'm excited to play. It was like a 9 out of 10 or a 90 on Metacritic right now, which is awesome. I mean, that good for them. They're like on their comeback tour. So I'm hopefully, I was a big fan of CD Projekt Red with Witcher. So I'm hopefully they can bring this game back. So I'm excited.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see how Cyberpunk 2 or whatever the fuck they title it will end up being. Because I saw, so they're creating a new studio in America that's going to do Cyberpunk 2, and it's also going to be on Unreal instead of like the Red Engine. So I feel like there's a lot of question marks there. Like a new studio is already like a big question mark. A brand new engine is like a big question mark. Like I hope they're able to build off the momentum of Cyberpunk now, instead of like, I hope we don't end up with like the whole cycle again where the game launches and it's like some of the bones are good, but like there's a lot of issues and it like slowly improves. Like it would just be cool to see Cyberpunk 2 come out of the gate a lot stronger.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I love the concept of Cyberpunk, and hopefully the sequel definitely just has a solid launch. I mean, that's really what the problem with Cyberpunk, the original game, was. It was just, it came out so broken that people just did not trust CD Projekt Red going forward. So they need to have a good launch, and then I think they'll be all right. So I agree with you, man.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, I think that kind of wraps up some of the games we've been playing, at least the big ones. Figure we could rapid fire some news topics. I'm gonna try and keep it under an hour and a half, because I want to finally test something out where you can like link a podcast feed to TikTok, but it has to be under 90 minutes. So we're gonna give it a little test run, see if it does anything. But yeah, so we'll rapid fire some news topics and then we'll get out of here. So first things first, we gotta talk about the Xbox merch, man. So Xbox dropped a new merch set today. If you haven't seen it, it's on your screen. But basically, it's some nostalgic Xbox, the Heritage Collection. So you got your Xbox 360 hoodie, your OG Xbox shirt, and like some of it's pretty good. And then you have the Halo 3 box art PNG copy pasted onto a black T-shirt. So, yeah.
I could pay someone on Fiverr to do that.
You don't even have to pay someone. Just fucking take the PNG and just cut out the background in Photoshop. It would take me 2 minutes.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this is something you could just go to any print-on-demand site and make yourself. I don't know if you remember that CE shirt that they had. That thing was badass.
Yeah.
But I don't know what this is.
I have the original Xbox design, like the classic logo shirt, which is cool, but I was like, how do you physically sit there and put this out, like the Halo logo, just put that on a shirt and be like, hey, pay me $30 for this thing? Like, come on now. Like, you could do so much more than that.
So obviously they don't sell the CE one anymore, but this is the CE one, and so you can tell they like incorporated they incorporated the box art, but they clearly put in more effort beyond just copy and pasting they didn't just copy and paste this fucking box in the background onto the T-shirt, so it looks so much better. But yeah,
I mean, I guess maybe some people like the simplicity. I don't know, but I don't know. I think that's really my style.
I'm like the biggest.
I don't like when you print a rectangle on a shirt. I've never liked that.
I feel like I'm like the biggest fucking H3 kid in the world. Like, you could shovel me most Halo 3 nostalgic things, and I'd be the type of person to buy it. But just copy and pasting the box art onto a T-shirt ain't it. Like, what am I gonna do? Fucking, hey guys, this is my Halo 3 box art. What's up, dude? Do you like it? This was on the Xbox 360, and people are like, "Oh my god, dude, that's sick." But yeah, some of the stuff in here is not bad. Like, I do like this Xbox shirt. That's like kind of cool, but
yeah,
I don't know. The hoodie's like okay. It should have Red Ring of Death, to be honest. I feel like that'd be more accurate to my 360 experience. But yeah, besides that, it's all right.
All right, I'm done. I made my shirt. It's ready to order. I've already made it.
See, it took Jared just about as long. I want to know who, clearly someone was supposed to design that at Microsoft or at Xbox, and that literally had to have taken them 5 minutes, if that, and they just turned that in for their day's work.
Right.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
All right, what else we got here? Let's see. Oh, did you guys ever play the MOBA thingy Gigantic?
No.
No, I never played it.
Jared, did you ever play that?
I did not play
it. It's an Xbox MOBA that got canceled at one point. Well, apparently there's I think it was made by Gearbox. It was one of their many failed video games. Par for the course for them. But apparently they sent out an email. They're doing private testing. So maybe it's coming back. This is a game that was shut down 5 years ago. So I don't know what is going on, but yeah, maybe Gigantic is making a comeback. So for all the two Gigantic fans out there, dude, you're about to be eating good.
Would you say it's a Gigantic comeback?
It might be. It might just be.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Hyenas got canceled. Did you guys have a chance to play Hyenas before it got yeeted into the wind?
I just heard about that game 2 weeks ago. Checked out the trailer, saw that it had a ton of dislikes on it, and then I hear 2 weeks later it's shut down. So, yeah.
And
it looks kind of generic to me. It just looked like another hero shooter. Boring. I saw people criticizing it for that, so I wasn't really excited for it. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really see much into it, but the fact that they had Neil Blomkamp was possibly going to try to help push it forward or help with the story direction, kind of maybe be interested in it. But I was I didn't really get into that.
So
that's
played
the studio that made Halo Wars 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So I played a bit of it during the alpha, and I will say, honestly, the gameplay was kind of fun. The gunplay and the heroes felt decent. It was basically a weird PvE extraction shootery type deal. But there wasn't really any stakes. But granted, it was the alpha, so maybe they would have implemented that stuff later on. But it had a very weird vibe. It was very on the nose about corporatization, I guess. Everything was get your merch, get your coins, get your, and it, all of the loot and stuff was Sega collectibles and stuff. So it was very the vibe of the game kind of seemed iffy from the start, but the gameplay itself I didn't actually mind. I do think it probably would have not done anything if it came out, which it didn't even come out. So yeah, I don't know. I did see that it was Sega's most it was either creative the studio. It was either their most expensive game ever, or it was Sega's most expensive game ever, and they just shut it down. So I don't know if that was true. I just saw I saw that on an article somewhere. But
it seemed like this decision was really sudden, because
they
just
had
2 days before they tweeted that, they replied to someone on Twitter talking about, the game's coming out on PC and console. You'll have another opportunity to play it.
Yeah, they had just
and then
had
2 days
the
later
open
they shut it
beta.
down. Yeah. So that's weird.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely odd. All right. I saw. Do you see? Cliffy B was tweeting some shit about Gears, so maybe we're getting a new Gears game. As I click on the tweet, it's now been deleted. So.
Yeah, I don't know. So probably not.
False alarm.
False alarm. Actually, I guess you fucking baited me.
Bullet Storm 2.
Oh my
I
lord.
could really go for a new Gears campaign, man. Like,
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I played every Gears
With
campaign
all those
so far.
RPG elements, open world and
Well, we
XP
can
system.
forget about that stuff. We don't need that.
Oh my god.
All right.
Driving the skiff around in Gears 5 is so stupid.
All right, well, for the first time ever, we'll wrap it up here. We'll do a little shorter one. We're going to give the TikTok thing a little test run, and if it ends up being useless, then we'll go back to being a 2-hour-long podcast. But Marzzman, thank you for coming on. Before you leave, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, what you're up to?
Like I do variety content on YouTube. I've been kind of doing a lot more live streams on YouTube versus doing a mixture of Twitch and YouTube. So you can find me on just search up Marzzman Gaming with 2 Z's. We do a lot of different types of content, so it's not just shooters. We do like RPGs because everyone's doing RPGs now, but all different type of variety games. But we do kind of even game adaptations as well. So we kind of have a lot of mixed bag for everybody out there. But I really do appreciate you guys having me on. I always love talking video games, talking all types of topics, and just getting to go make fun of some Assassin's Creed a little bit. Hopefully they get their crap right. But yeah, it's been a fun time, guys. Definitely go check out the channel. Hit a like and thumbs up on some videos. Really would appreciate it. But thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Jared, what are you up to?
I should be. Let me think here. Well, I won't be reviewing Assassin's Creed. I'm gonna play it, obviously, just because I want to see what it's like. But there will be a new video for Echoes of the Living coming soon, which is being made by 2 indie devs who are a couple. They're pretty amazing. And then I'm gonna have a review of Lords of the Fallen, Super Mario Wonder, and I'll try to squeeze in Alan Wake 2 maybe before the end of the month as well. So that's kind of the ideal lookout right now. So we'll see how that goes. No Spider-Man 2 for me. I haven't played the first one yet. So until I do that, I'm ignoring that.
That is fair. Pop Q, you up to anything?
So I don't really make videos anymore. What I do though is I write scripts and then I never turn them into videos. So I have
like the worst of both worlds.
It is. I have several scripts like finished right now. I just got to turn them into videos. So whenever I get around to that, there will be more videos on the channel.
What's the best script topic we have right now?
Oh boy.
I have a pretty long one about what I think the future of MCC is going to be like. It's pretty detailed, in-depth video. I talk about a lot of things. So,
is there a future for MCC? I feel like the future is it just fizzles out.
You know, I can't spoil the video.
All right,
fair
enough.
Is there a video for year 20 of Halo 3?
Yeah, dude, we're coming back.
Yeah.
It's good. It all comes back around to Halo 3 with the T-shirt. So
it's just good eats, man. It's good eats for gaming right now. A lot of games to play.
Oh yeah, for sure. This has been. We didn't talk about it because we ran out of time, but games-wise, this year's been jam-packed. But I feel like the industry is struggling. Like there's layoffs and shutdowns left and right, but somehow games are still shipping out that are just like good game after good game. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the year treats us, but I feel like we still have some pretty decent games for the rest of the year. That's pretty much gonna do it for the podcast. Thanks everyone for watching. It'll be the VOD will be up on YouTube tomorrow, podcast platforms tomorrow. Thanks again to Marzzman for coming on. I think my hour-long Saints Row video will come out this week. Maybe it might be done. I don't know. But if you want to listen to
waiting for that.
Over an hour-long video about the Saints Row reboot, I got you. All right, we dive deep about all the fucking issues that game had. So yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna do it. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next time.